Hello and welcome to the unboxing of Warlord's bolt-action Soviet Army Russian Starter Army. Anyways, so you got the box. I got this from Amazon for a nice little sweet deal. And if you look on the sides of the box, it'll tell you about other books, other products that Bolt Action has. Okay, on the side you've got a T-3485, and then on this side here you can see more Bolt Action box sets ranging from other combatants to other vehicles that are used in the period of World War II, 1939 to 1945. And on this side here, you get to see some of the Russian troops that are on there. Let's go ahead, let's open it up and see what we have in the box. Well, we have a lot of sprues. The first thing I noticed was, hey, there are no instructions on how to put the tank together. Now, that's not the end of the world. I mean, you could get the instructions online, I believe, at warlordgames.com. But the really cool part, and I thought that was a very big plus for Warlord, was check this out. The instructions are here on the inside of the box. Fairly simple, easy to put together for the T-3485. And then on this side here, they give the Soviet infantry weapon sprue contents, where they identify the individual weapons based on what they are. Some of them, you may notice that they have the rifle slings, so that's meant to be put in a position where the gravity affects the rifle sling and it carries it downward, which I think is a really big plus. But you also have such a wide selection of weapons. If you want the basic rifle with or without a bayonet, that is totally up to you. You do have an ATR. You also have the Russian DP-28 light machine gun. You also have different kinds of pistols that the Russian officers and commissars used, but a nice plus also is you have a Panzerfaust as well. So that's really wonderful if you want to do some late war stuff. On the other inside, it talks to you guys a little bit more about tank war, and then a starter kit for Bolt Action. If you wanted to get into it, that would be the D-Day firefight, which gives you Americans and Germans and a German half-track and a ruined Hamlet, and you're off to go. They give you introductory scenarios, things like that. Okay, on the other side of the inside of the box, here you have the Soviet infantry body sprue contents. So you do have quite a variety, which is one of the things I really like about the Warlord Bolt Action Infantry. Because it comes in multi-parts, you can turn around and have your figures do slightly different things, and it gives it a little bit more character, I think, compared to, say, you have 3 poses in a box and that's the end of it. Okay, let's take a look at the sprues here for a moment. And I know I dropped the, here we go. Okay, so here you have the decal for the T-3485, and you'll notice you have a choice of either regular Red Army, or you can have the Guards designation on that. I'm choosing Guards for my T-3485. Now, you also have typically Russian slogans, okay? And I can tell you this one here is Za Stalina. It is in Cyrillic, so it's pretty doggone genuine, I would say, for that. And the others, I don't know off the top of my head, but there's also command designations. There's even kill markers as far as what the T-34 has taken out in its time. Okay, so we have several of these sprues here. This is the body sprue. You already have a couple of bases on there, so that's cool. And again, you've got loads of accessories, shovels, satchels, things like that. You also have a variety of helmets. Okay, you can use the soft cap, you can use the hard cap for the commissar/officer. That's cool. You even got one here. I'll take a closer look at it here. This is for the Molotov cocktail. Really cool. Very good, Warlord. Okay, here's the close-up of the weapon sprue, again mentioned earlier, but you have different kinds of the Russian submachine gun. You have the banana clip. You also have the drum magazine, which is a stereotype when people think about Russian soldiers fighting. You also have your ATR. You also have your DP-28 light machine gun. You also, what's really cool, you also have the Tokarev semi-automatic rifle. There were not that many made, but it's a cool thing that it's in there. You also have Russian grenades as well. Very cool. And here's another body sprue. Okay, and here's one of the part of the T-34-85 sprue. You got your bogies, you got your tracks. Okay, the tracks, it would be pretty easy to figure out which goes on top, which goes on the bottom, which goes on the left, and which goes on the right. The real tricky part is being able to join the track halves with the modeling glue at this point here. That's a trick for you. Okay, another weapon sprue. Another weapon sprue. It's very typical for bolt action that you will have plenty of weapons left over. So that's kind of cool because you can make them as objective markers, like if you rescued prisoners or something. Okay, here's another part of the T-34-85 sprue, and you can see that, wow, that's just nice, crisp detail there. Now you can make it an OT-34, where you have, instead of having a regular bow machine gun here, you can mount a flamethrower in there. I'm not going to do that. I'm going with a standard T-34-85 just to keep things simple. You've got more sprues here, more body sprues, because you got quite a few guys here. Remember, the Russian army was pretty massive. Now, they also took a lot of casualties in the war. So, again, you got more body sprues, and you already have a couple of bases to go with it. As we plow through, yet more body sprues, and some more body sprues. Now, what's interesting to note, you have extra bases here. Now, you do need those bases, considering the number of troops that you have. There's a couple of other pieces here. So we have, again, more bases. Very, very useful. Kind of neat, necessary. Okay. So again, we have those. We've got another weapon sprue. Talk about a cornucopia. And again, now this is kind of interesting because this is the newer type base that it has a lip on it on the very edge. I don't know how well you can see that. Okay, but that's pretty cool. That might be nice if you're doing some basing material with it. Now, you also have here two circular bases. One is for the medium machine gun and one is for the 81mm mortar. Okay, really cool, very useful, and again, it's lipped, so depending on what you want to do with your basing material. Okay, some people use milliput, some people use some type of plumber's putty. That will work also. And I got a couple of pieces that were undone. Metal figures. Okay, so here's the 81mm mortar crew. Okay, nice bag here and sealed, ready to get going. And then on here we have the commander, and we have an officer, and we have a medic. Now again, with Warlord, you have the options. You have different heads that you can use. Looking at this particular figure right here, I have to put the guy with the soft cap on there because it's such a stereotypical. It was the iconic picture of the junior lieutenant ordering the charge. Probably was taken for propaganda purposes. We also have ourselves a medic. There were many women who served as frontline medics. Very tough women. My hat's off to them for being able to do that. Okay, these guys here, this is the Maxim machine gun team. Okay, and they're good to go. So you have the total crews for your weapons. So all in all, the only thing I'm missing off here would be the rectangular base for the anti-tank rifle team. That's not a big deal, okay? I got this, out through Amazon. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I'm just going to go use an MDF board and cut the base, and that's the end of it. But anyways, so to wrap up, there is one other thing you need to look at. here on the bottom of the box here, and that tells you what you are getting for about 1,000 points. A regular lieutenant, 1 extra rifleman, veteran medic, 1 extra rifleman, 4 regular infantry squads, okay, 11 troops, 11 men in each. You have an inexperienced infantry squad that's free, that's a national capability that the Russians have, a mortar team, an anti-tank rifle team, and a T-34 85 medium tank for a total of about 1,001 points. Well, I hope this would be a benefit for you guys out there. If you're thinking about getting the Russian starter army, I think it's worth the price. I think with all the goods that you have, you can't go wrong with this. Okay, hope you enjoyed this. Signing off.